Hi, my name is Michelle Greenman, the Plus Size Women's Wellness Coach, and I want to help you make over your life. Today, to help you do that, we are going to talk about what to do when you can't get pregnant. And I want to talk about this because some of the women that I work with, this is one of the biggest things that's nagging at the back of their head. And because it is, it affects the way they eat, the way they sleep, how their relationships are with their significant others. And so I really wanted to kind of give best tips on how to deal with this. Actually, my first client, she really came to me about weight loss, but polycystic ovary syndrome was one of the biggest things that she had that she was dealing with, and trying to get pregnant for over 5 years, doing lots of different things like taking fertility drugs and trying to kind of extend all of her options until the doctor finally told her to give up. And so that's the first thing for us to talk about today is if the doctor tells you you can't have kids, don't believe them. Okay? It is always possible, because she stopped even trying, which was a good thing for her because the things she was trying were not effective or helpful. But she was told that she would never have kids ever. And of course, I can tell you today that she did. Before we stopped working with each other, she actually got pregnant and had a beautiful, beautiful baby girl, and did wonderful, absolutely wonderful while we were working together. So I actually thought of 3 steps to take when you are having a hard time getting pregnant. 3 steps to take when you are having trouble to get pregnant. These are the steps that we went through together, so I just wanted to share them with you because I know that a lot of times it's just kind of a dark room that you're walking into. You don't know what's there and what can happen and what's possible. Number 1 is to decide if you actually want to get pregnant, okay? And sometimes it seems like, obviously I will, of course I do, but it's really important to take some time to decide, do I really want to have children, and why do I really want to have children? Because at times that stress we have of doing something to make us happy is really this stress of wanting to make other people happy. And I know I kind of went through this when I was getting married, and it was a really difficult subject with me and my family, but the way that I wanted to get married and the way that they wanted me to get married were 2 different things. And it can be the same with children. Is when my husband and I first met each other, it was just the assumption that everybody said is like, when are you guys going to get married? And we hadn't even decided if that was going to happen. And after we did, every single time we would see people, it would be like, when are you guys going to have children? And so for us, we are not having children. It's not part of our plan. It's not part of what we want. It's not part of what our life is supposed to look like. And it's important for you to decide, is this really something that I want, or is it something that people are just placing on top of me? And so, I did lots of research when I was in high school. Actually, I was in middle school. We did this one project where we had to go through the different stages of child development under 5 and what exactly children needed. And one of the things that we did was to add up the price of how much children were going to cost for us to have. And some of you might be thinking, oh no, that's such a really stringent way of looking at children. There's joy and there's wonderful things all along, and I completely agree with that. I love babies. I love playing with babies and hanging out with babies. But affording children and having children because you like them are 2 different things. And it's important for you to know what you're going into. A lot of us, we don't think about how much is this going to cost as far as our time and as far as our money. So that's really important. Really determining why you want children. Is it something that you personally want? What are you going to get out of it? Is it something that your family wants? Who's going to help support you? These are all really important questions to think about, especially if you're a religious person, because you should be thinking, am I going to be able to give the time and energy, the moral standard, just the foresight to my child to give them the best opportunity to become exactly what God has put them here to become. So that's really important. Sometimes you'll start to realize maybe you don't want children, or you'll start to realize maybe right now is not the best time. Or you'll start to realize maybe I'll adopt. I know that's something that my husband and I often talk about is if we did have children, one of the things we want to do is adopt children because there's so many children out there that don't have parents who are already here and need parents. And so it's important for you to think of, do I really want children? Do I really want to be pregnant, and why? To make sure it's something that's an internal motivation and not an external motivation. So that's number one. Do you really want to get pregnant, and why? Number two is for you to determine what is actually wrong. It's important for you to actually go and get a diagnosis. Now, a lot of people, when they hear what I do, they think I don't work with doctors. I love doctors. They're awesome. They're probably the most effective way to get a diagnosis. Go to the doctor, get a blood test, tell them what's wrong, tell them what you're feeling, tell them what you want, and let them give you a diagnosis. Now, it's true, doctors are not always 100% correct, but they will give you an idea of what's going on the inside of you because they know how to do that. Then you can address number three. So number two is to make sure you actually know what's wrong, okay? Go to the doctors, ask them to get a blood test, ask them to do a physical, ask them to recommend you to a specialist. Have the specialist give you a diagnosis. Like I told you, my first client, she had polycystic ovary syndrome. It was very specific. The earmark was that her periods were not regular. The earmark was that she had weight gain. There were many things that were going on, but it was important to know what those specific things were so you can address them. Number three is to naturally get a plan to address the actual issue. So our plan that we went through was twofold. One was to deal with the weight, and the other was to deal with renewal. Now, renewal is a program that I designed, had 7 steps, and it's the things that you need to get physical wellness. And it's very complete, very comprehensive, and very effective. But one of the things that renewal is not based around is weight loss. So we really looked specifically at weight loss and getting those steps implemented in her life that would give her natural weight loss without drugs, without diets, without crazy calorie counting, and also to look at renewal. And we used renewal specifically for some of the alternative ways to reverse what was happening. And one of the things was a chemical that they actually used to make a drug, which I found in a few different foods. 2 of the foods were fig melons, and the other one was carob. So there are many options that you can get, but you actually need a plan. After you start to work that plan, you'll start to see that things can completely change very, very quickly. So those are the 3 things that I would do if you are trying to get pregnant. Number 1, think about, do I really want children, and why? Because maybe you can adopt. Maybe you don't even want to have children at all. Maybe you want to travel around the world and help other people in other countries with their children. You know, when you really start to think of, why is it that I want this? What am I going to get out of it? You'll start to see a whole lot of options open up for you. Also, one of the biggest things is the release of stress and pressure that you'll have, which actually can help you get pregnant. Number 2 is to figure out what's actually wrong. Get a diagnosis. Have a specialist tell you. You do not have to do the treatment. You do not have to get in vitro. You do not have to take the pills, but you should know what's actually happening. And number 3, I suggest that you get a natural health plan that allows you to address the actual problems and the causes and to reverse them. It should take anywhere from 3 to 9 months for you to really have a really complete body change. And that's why I offer 2 different programs that look at that time. If it's something that you've been experiencing for a while, you should be looking at a 9-month program. You should be looking at really incorporating the changes and really giving that time for your body to change its genes. Definitely go to my blog, which I'm going to put at the bottom with the article, and sign up for our free course on how to lose weight forever, or for one of our sessions. I'm doing strategy sessions right now, so sign up and have an opportunity to really figure out what this means for you. I encourage you to have a wonderful day, experience wellness. Nobody's going to tell you what it's going to feel like. You have to experience it for yourself, and we'll see you next week.